Welcome to Cheddar at Home, the intersection of smart homes and smart living. Brought to you by Residio, Smart Home Simplified. I'm Baker Machado. You're watching Cheddar's new show, all about millennial living. This is the show where we dive into everything to do with the home industry. We're covering topics from tiny home living to home renovation dreams. So come for the host, but stay for the show. You're gonna learn a ton.
On Cheddar at Home, we've talked a lot about the phenomenon of tiny homes and how they're a more eco-friendly and financially attractive way to live. But a team of people in Detroit are taking the benefits of tiny homes to the next level. Cass Community Services provides low-income housing for residents in Detroit. Now, this incredible project was started by our guest, Faith, who is the director of Cass Community Social Services. Faith, thank you so much for joining us all the way from Detroit.
I'm glad to be with you, thanks.
So let's just jump right in. Tell me a little bit about Cass and what makes this community so special.
So Cass grew out of a Methodist church in Detroit. It became a separate nonprofit in 2002 and has worked with homeless people and poor people since then.
And how was the idea born and kind of what inspired you?
We were able to help people stop being homeless, to get a job, to get off drugs if that was an issue, or to get on drugs if they were dealing with mental health, to find a job, find an apartment, find a car. The issue was that they would come back to us, much like I say a boomerang. I couldn't determine when, but most did. And it was almost always related to the fact that they ran into a crisis in their life, but didn't have any sort of safety net. So we saw the tiny homes as being a way for them to establish an asset that would function as a safety net for them.
Yeah, I think that's just an ingenious way of using these tiny homes. So can you tell me a little bit about the homes? What does it take to build them?
A lot of prayer. We're building 25 detached homes, 250 to 400 square feet. Each is on its own separate lot, so 30 by 100-foot lot. Each is distinctive and attractive, so a Victorian, a lighthouse, a Katrina cottage, so that everybody has the pride of being in a place that's not like anybody else's. We use a general contractor to do the beginning of the house, the foundation, the walls, the electrical and plumbing, and then we utilize a whole host of volunteers to finish it: drywall, flooring, cabinets, countertops, furniture assembly, landscaping. So it stretches our budget and allows us to involve a lot of people.
Yeah, and it's incredible that they all have their own kind of unique style. What a special touch. Who are the residents living in this community, and what has their reaction been to their homes?
So they're all low income, actually extremely low income. They make between $7,000 and $15,000 a year, more towards the $7,000 to $12,000 a year. And it's a combination of people who've been formerly homeless or formerly incarcerated, senior citizens, and young adults who have aged out of foster care, all of whom need sort of a springboard financially to move on and up with their lives.
I understand that Cass does more than just provide housing. What else is included in the community?
So there are a variety of things within walking distance within the community. There are jobs and classes and a gym and a medical clinic and food. But beyond that, the residents in the tiny homes participate in a program for 7 years. They meet together as homeowners to talk about issues involving the house. They meet individually with a financial coach to work on budgeting and banking and earning more money and investing even. 8 hours a month they volunteer in the larger community. So that all is a part of the program to make sure that once they own the home, they're successful at keeping the home. And we think it's a good recipe for success.
You gave a great TEDx talk where you talked about the difference between a house and a home. Will you just enlighten our viewers a little bit on that sentiment?
Sure. So my notion of a house is it's a building. It's a temporary place for you to stay. We use it birdhouse, doghouse, outhouse, jailhouse, White House. Nobody thinks of it as more than a shell, if you will. A home is an emotional address that's much more permanent in that it's where we're surrounded by pictures and people and pets that we love. It's a place where we can get undressed emotionally and feel safe because of the surroundings. I like to say it's where you pull in the driveway at the end of the day, you think to yourself, thank God I'm home. It doesn't matter where you've been. There's no place like home, and that's certainly true for our residents.
Oh, that's incredible. What kind of obstacles have you overcome to get this community to where it is today?
Well, it's been a great experience in Detroit. We haven't had any resistance from the city at all. We're okay with zoning because we're building where houses used to be. Construction has sometimes been held up. Utilities have sometimes been held up, but really that's been the only set of obstacles we've dealt with.
What kind of impact has this community had on Detroit?
Detroit is a city that's experienced a great exodus over the last couple decades, so that at one point our population was almost 2 million and now is 700,000. So there's been a great accumulation of vacant land and abandoned properties and squatters in properties. So to see new construction has really been a tremendous thing. We're not facing any sort of NIMBY, not in my backyard. In fact, we're facing the opposite, that the community is elated and excited and comes by to take selfies and videos. The last new thing to be constructed in this neighborhood was 1974, and it was a garage. So this program has the neighborhood elated in a wonderful way.
Yeah, people can't help themselves but take a selfie outside of a tiny home.
Yeah.
Any plans for the future of your community? What's next?
So we plan on doing 25 for individuals and couples, and then at least 10 for families. And we're also beginning to acquire property along the main thoroughfare, Woodrow Wilson, so that we can add amenities and services and jobs to the larger community as well.
You are solving homelessness one tiny home at a time, and I thank you for that. It's really incredible work. Thank you so much for joining us, Faith.